Welcome to a new anime review series. This one reviewing the anime Ace Attorney. Yep, based upon the video game series from Capcom. Have I ever played the video games? No, never have. Though I'm interested in playing them, but I never have out of time to find them or at least play them. I know they released here, just never play them. But this anime is an adaptation of the video games. Now, I'm only reviewing, for this particular review, the first 12 episodes, which is an adaptation of the first game of the series. The next 12 is an adaptation of the second game, but they skip one case when they say that for next season. Now, what is the series about? Ace Attorney. It's basically a rookie attorney who argues cases in a courtroom, and the courtroom looks completely different from how I traditionally see, well, when I watch a legal dramas, generally when you see legal dramas, see the prosecutor and defense attorney, where their tables are, they face toward the judge. In this show, they face each other. The witness is kind of like in the middle, kind of like toward like the prosecutor's left and the defense attorney's right. And the defendant is sit off in a chair off to, let's say, the right of the witness stand. And here's the thing. The audience are actually, believe it or not, on these elevated stadium seats on both sides. It kind of looks like a bit of an old-fashioned style courtroom. And in case you're wondering, is it a trial by jury? Nope, it's all a judge. It's all it's a bench trial. And it almost seems like that the verdict is basically done via like on the fly-ish, is what it seems like, and it's the same exact judge in every case. I don't know if anybody's ever pointed this out in the anime. I know they put it on the video game. I don't know if they put it on the video game, but I hope at some point in the anime that they have the same exact judge in every single case. And overall, in the first 12 episodes, there is exactly 4 cases. The first case takes up just the first episode of the series, where the main character, Phoenix Wright, voiced in the dub, watching English dub for the thing, but on Funimation, where he's voiced by Eric Vale. First time I actually heard him voice a main character. Those of you not familiar with Eric Vale, he also voiced Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Super, DBZ Kai, and Dragon Ball Z. He also is current voice for Sanji from One Piece, Aleister Crowley III from The Gray Man, and I think that's it. Yeah, I haven't found that many series, but the guy is a damn good voice actor. And this is probably by far the 5th series I've heard of him in. Of course, he's mentored by a drop-dead gorgeous woman named Mia Fey, who is voiced by one of my favorite dub actors, Colleen Clickenbeard, in the 11th series I've actually heard her in. Yes, the 11th. And she is actually the reason why I got hooked onto the series, because she voices one of the characters. And I'll explain what happens to her. Because it's like, okay, she voices a character in the series, and she's the first time she's voiced a character who's a brunette that I've seen. And she has one thing particularly bigly in common with like every single woman she ever voiced I've seen so far. They all got big chest. Yeah, well, big breasts anyways. Yeah, that's a basically sort of a unofficial thing that's sort of common with a lot of the female characters I've seen her voice, is how they have big chest. Well, it's not exactly something to talk about, but yeah, it is very common is that they're very beautiful women. And of course she has got a scarf and this little necklace around her neck, and she dresses like a traditional businesswoman with the little mini skirt thing. Yeah. And Phoenix is basically argues murder case. This one he's arguing a murder. He's venting one of his childhood friends of allegedly murdering his ex-girlfriend. And they have one witness. And here's the dumb thing I don't like about this episode. They actually showed the murder actually happening in the opening few minutes. And it clearly points out that who the murderer is. I think the anime must have realized a mistake and never bothered to actually show the murder itself until like the last part of the thing. And also, for the rest of these particular episodes, they are multi-parters, not standalones. They eventually do find the murderer, and the viewer already know who it is. It just it took It took Phoenix basically a whole episode to prove it, and it was the prosecutor's star witness. Also, there's something really weird though. The prosecutor for this case never returns for the remaining 12 episodes. Nope, he gets replaced by Miles Edgeworth. And his childhood friend's name is Larry Butts. He actually returns for the longest arc of the entire this particular half of the season, with actually it's the longest arc of the entire season anyway. It's a 5-parter. Yep. He comes back late. Of course, they mentioned the whole thing about the flashback of why Phoenix became a defense attorney. They actually got to show an next episode I'm going to watch later on, but I'm going to do some reviews between then. And what about the other cases for this particular series? Yeah, there's only just a few of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're all quite interesting. I mean, yeah, they make them all interesting cases. Yeah. Episodes 2 through 4 is basically, of course, Larry Butts is found not guilty. He always finds a way, always finding contradictions, witness statements, and he basically uses kind of the similar tactics used like in a lot of the trials. He uses different evidence per se, but yeah, it's used similar tactics in a lot of ways to get his clients to the hook, but always within legal reason. He doesn't cheat. The first one is the first really big arc of the whole series, where his mentor, Mia, is murdered. Yep, she gets murdered. Yeah, Colleen Clickenbeard, playing a character who gets murdered 2 episodes in, though she does come back a couple times in this season. She comes back as a spirit in the final episode of the season, this arc, and she comes back in the last part of the 5-parter. Yep. And of course, Phoenix is defending her younger sister, Maya, and they actually pointed at her age. Apparently, Mia was 27, and Maya, her younger sister, is 10 years younger than she is. Yeah, apparently she's 17. Okay. And I think that Phoenix must be around like 25-ish, 25, 26, because he doesn't seem like that much younger than Mia. And it would not be surprising if somehow he developed an attraction to Mia prior to her being murdered. Yeah. Of course, the murder weapon is also connected to a case from the previous episode. A Thinker clock, and how she was murdered, it was very similar to exactly how the last case was, where the character was bashing the head with this thing. And this one, bashing the head, though this one is pulling a lot of blood, this one. And of course, Mia got thrown against the wall. And he used quite ingenious tactics, and of course, this is also the introduction of Miles Edgeworth. Yeah, who is his voice actor for this particular series? Yeah, I don't really, let me look him up on here. Miles Edgeworth. Yeah, he dresses in a very old-fashioned style. He's voiced by, let's see if I can find him here. Christopher Wantham, I think it's pronounced person's name. Yeah, though Kyle Herbert voiced him in the video games. And of course, he does play a role. He just mainly a prosecutor, but he does get a character arc in the last 5-parter of the season. Oh yeah, and the person who murdered Mia is a guy who wears a pink suit and expensive jewelry, and apparently he is a very disgusting man because he blackmails people, a whole bunch of them. He's basically a private investigator who just has information on a bunch of people, and he basically forces money on people to make himself rich. And he is not denying the fact that he is rich. And Phoenix points out, though, he looks tacky in a pink suit. And I'm sure a lot of viewers, when they watch this, like, really? The murderer is a guy in a pink suit? How stupid is that? I mean, that's the most obvious thing people can point out, though. Guys don't usually wear pink suits and wear expensive jewelry covering all their fingers. He looks like a freaking gangster. Yes, gangsters sometimes usually wear rings like all 5 fingers. And this guy basically called up Miles Edgeworth on the phone. Somehow he has him on speed dial. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be your Nova witness, and I found the murderer, and it's Phoenix Wright. And then all of a sudden, Detective Gumshoe, who actually made his debut in this particular three-parter, he's a fun character as well. He becomes basically a regular character in the rest of the series as well. Arrest Phoenix, and so Phoenix had to defend himself and his own client of murder. And basically, Phoenix is able to find out, thanks to Mia channeling Mia, and also writing down a certain list. And Mia throws it in his face. What's on the list? All people he blackmailed. Yep. And apparently because Mia was investigating him, so he killed her. Yes. The absolute perfect motive. Of course, this does get brought up in the last arc of this particular first half of the season. Of course, the guy is arrested. I'm sure he's probably also charged with not only first-degree murder, but also multiple charges of blackmail. Yes. The Steel Samurai. This was a quick little three-parter. Yeah, where the star of the show is accused of killing his co-star. Yeah. Killing him with the signature weapon of the main character. Yeah. As for how he died, it's one of the most weirdest things how they do it. Instead of being bashed in the head like he was in the last, my guess is they probably learned to not use the same murder weapon in 3 straight cases. That was kind of stupid. So they have his murder in the most unusual way. He gets stabbed with a freaking spear while in his costume. Yes, there's a similar case I've read in the manga where it's kind of like this. Okay, the murder victim is a guy named Jack Howard. I think that's his name. Yeah, the Jack Hammer. And Will Powers, who I heard his voice. It's actually, from what I can tell, I think this is the same guy who voices Hercule from the Dragon Ball franchise. Yeah, the same exact voice actor. I mean, why not? It's Funimation, so it's not surprising we use the dub actors. So far, I haven't heard Christopher, and as far as I can tell, I haven't heard Christopher Saban pop up in this series yet, or even Todd Haberkorn, or even Patrick Stoltz. So far, it's just Eric Vale, Colleen Clickenbeard, and the guy who voiced Hercule. Oh yeah, and there's also one other character who is not from Dragon Ball Z, but I think this guy from Fairy Tail. He voices a character in the last one. I'll get to him soon. Yeah. And it turns out the murderer who actually killed the Jack Howard was actually the show's producer. A beautiful woman who looks like she's kind of like going to a funeral. She wears like this very revealing outfit covered in cloth. And also, she apparently loves torturing the director by stepping on, using her high heels to step on his spine while reading a script. And that apparently is her meeting. No, seriously, that's how she does her meetings. And apparently there was also and it turns out also, like, how she killed him, it was not what the actual people think was a murder weapon, it was a different thing. Yeah, he proved it was actually a different murder weapon. It wasn't exactly the same exact one as the previous one. It was actually a fence spike. This is what killed him. She killed him by killing him in self-defense because apparently she had blackmailed him for some time, basically over an accidental death of a co-star, and she held it over him for some time, and apparently he came to murder her wearing the Steel Samurai attire, though there was a fan of... It was correctly pointed out, though, this was not... And, of course, the Steel Samurai... It was pointed out, though, of course, the character with Winnie Winback would come back in a later arc. She is an old, let's say, security guard, and she developed in a fondness for Miles Edgeworth. It is so hilarious. She's also cute. And this is a woman who looks like she's probably in her 60s, and Miles is probably in his 20s. Yeah. And, of course, Miles is probably embarrassed by his whole thing of, whatever. And they even talk, and apparently the whole excellent co-star thing happened like 5 years before the events of the series. And this happened at Old Run Out, so somehow she basically got up and running. And it's unknown if she was charged with his murder, though it was kind of proven to be self-defense anyways. I would probably say that she probably would not have been charged anyways because it was self-defense and he was coming to kill her. But I'm sure she probably received some scrutiny for killing him and, of course, blackmailing him. Probably received some scrutiny, but I highly doubt that she probably would have faced jail time for what she did. At least the first two guys did. Now let's see. The case that came right after that one was the big one, the one that lasted 5 episodes, so episode 8 and episode 12, the one where Edgeworth is charged with murdering the guy who defended the bailiff who was accused of murdering his father 15 years prior to the events of the series. And that particular portion of the trial thing, that gets wrapped up by episode 4, and it turns out it was actually the old caretaker, the one who actually called the police. And yeah, this is the same guy who voices Makarov in Fairy Tail. Yeah, same exact voice actor. I don't think this guy's ever popped up in Dragon Ball Z as far as I know, but I have heard his voice pop up in a few other Funimation projects, like not only Fairy Tail, I've heard him also in Attack on Titan. Mostly voicing characters who are very old. Yes, he's known for voicing old men a lot, so I wasn't surprised to see him here. It would be interesting also if he took over the voice. If he wanted to, he could take over voice Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Super. That could be interesting. Or it could be some Christopher Saban. Who knows? And of course, turns out the whole thing was actually... And here's the thing. It's also a connection to not only a previous trial. Yeah. This is a connection to the two cases that are very similar. And it turns out the person who actually killed Miles' father, Miles assumed was him. It was originally assumed was his bailiff. Nope, it wasn't him. Miles thought it was him because he had nightmares. Nope, wasn't him. It was actually his adoptive father who killed his own biological father. How did he kill him? Shoot him in the heart when he was not looking. And this happened during a blackout. And the reason why he killed him, because he nearly ruined his 40-year win streak. That is the reason that's the motive for murder. And he got arrested on the spot for what he did. I'm sure the guy probably faced serious jail time for killing a fellow attorney. But this overall was a great set of 12 episodes, and of course, this is also a good character moment for Maya as well. Not much character moment for Phoenix like it was in the first couple of arcs, first arc, but this one, yeah, this one was mostly also her Maya. Apparently, her spiritual powers are weakening, so she went back on to complete her training. And that's where the last episode left off, with her taking a train home. And of course, she can't exactly. Her thanking Phoenix for all that he has done for her. And she said something after the door closes, but he couldn't hear exactly what she said. But I'm sure that probably he would find out probably a little bit later. And as far as I can tell, Phoenix never developed an attraction to her. I'm sure he was probably attracted to her older sister. Who wouldn't? She's a gorgeous woman. I'm sure, like, any guy, I'm sure if she probably met her, he would be like drooling all over her because how beautiful she is. It's like, look how beautiful this is. I'm sure that's probably how Gumshoe probably would be, but he actually does appear like all three of these are cases, except for the first one. Yeah. But this overall was a good set of 12 episodes. Now the second episode I'm going to do is the remaining episodes for the 6th season. And the third episode is going to be on the current season, which is currently airing right now. And traditional Funimation, 3 episodes behind the way are the sub. So, third episode probably just 1 episode review. Probably pretty short anyways, okay? So, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my reviews today of reviews of the dub for Dragon Ball Super, One Piece, for that, and Boruto. Okay? But to see you next review. Bye.